Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Tudor Black Bay 58. This watch is available for €4,190. You can purchase the watch from Chronex.com online or alternatively in person at their boutiques. All their watches are Chronex certified original by their in-house watchmakers, and all their watches are covered by the Chronex 24-month warranty. So firstly, let's look at the items one gets with a watch, and then I'll talk you through the specifications of the piece. So one gets the original plastic Tudor price tag, and on the reverse it has the full reference number of the Black Bay 58. This is the user's manual. This is the guarantee booklet. And lastly, one also gets the international guarantee card. As you can see, this was purchased 29th of July 2020, so it is in as new condition. So, with regards to the specifications of the Tudor Black Bay 58, 39mm case diameter, it has a 47.6mm lug-to-lug measurement, the thickness is 11.9mm including the domed sapphire crystal which has AR coating on the underside, 20mm lug width, and the bracelet tapers from 20mm at the lugs down to 16mm at the flip block clasp, and as you can see the flip block clasp is signed with Tudor. Matte blue dial, and the classic Tudor dial layout really does complement the matte blue dial with the applied indices and the silver snowflake hands. Coin edge finish to the solid stainless steel bezel, and it has an aluminium bezel insert with a matte finish which also complements the matte dial. So it really does capture the essence of a vintage Tudor piece. No crown guards case, and also I like the large bevel which marks the transition between the tops of the case and the flanks. Brush satin finish to the tops of the lugs, and that complements the mirror polishing to the flanks of the case which is done to a flawless standard as one would expect. So let's test the bezel action. 60 click unidirectional bezel. Contemporary watches often have 120 click bezels, but the 60 click bezel really does add to the vintage aesthetic of this piece. Good heavy clicks and good firm resistance, and the clicks are loud. I like the fact they're audible and one can feel each positive click of those 60 clicks. Needless to say, there is no lateral side-to-side play whatsoever, no back play whatsoever, and perfect alignment. So a very well executed 60 click unidirectional bezel. The crown is solid stainless steel, coin edge finished, and as you can see it is embossed with a Tudor rose. So let's test the crown action. Absolutely silky smooth to unscrew. It feels just the same as a Rolex crown. No resistance whatsoever when unscrewing the crown from the crown tube. Good positive click when one pulls it out to the final position, to the time setting position, and a nice firm click when one pushes it back in to restart the movement. So the movement has hand binding and hacking, and one can manually wind the movement to top it up to its maximum 70-hour power reserve, which is very impressive. Absolute pleasure to screw it back down. Silky smooth interface between the internal thread of the crown and the external thread of the crown tube. So with regards to the finishing, it's one of my favourite aspects of the piece because one can see the grains of the metal on the tops of the case which are brushed into a satin finish. I like the large bevel machined which is mirror polished to a flawless standard, and the mirror polishing to the flanks is just absolutely beautiful to look at. The bracelet is also finished to a very high standard, beautiful lustre to the stainless steel. And one thing I really like about the Black Bay 58 is it has pivoted end links. As you can see, the end links are female, and that allows for extra articulation of the bracelet. As you can see, the end link can pivot underneath the end of the lugs, and that means one can get the perfect fit. So it's something that Tudor do very well, the pivoted end links. Rivet bracelet which does complement the vintage aesthetic of the piece, and also it has screw pins in the bracelet which make resizing it easy. The clasp is very well executed, finished to a very high standard, mirror polished to the flanks. One thing I would like to see Tudor improve upon is the use of the 3 micro adjustment holes. I would like to see the flip block clasp extended to make it longer, and that would allow for 5 micro adjustment holes rather than just 3, because that would allow for fine tuning the fit better. The flip block is well executed, and I'm going to show you one of my favourite aspects of it. There are 4 ceramic ball bearings in the flip block clasp, and this is something one rarely sees. Usually the ball bearings are made from stainless steel, but the use of ceramic ball bearings is innovative. Ceramic is of course a very hard wearing material, and therefore these ceramic ball bearings are going to last for a good length of time. The flip lock clasp is therefore always going to have a nice tight positive click. It's not going to wear, which would be the case with stainless steel ball bearings. The use of 4 ball bearings rather than 2 is also very good. The interior of the flip block clasp is finished to perfection, solid stainless steel, signed with Tudor Geneva as you can see, and made from steel inox. So it's a very well executed high grade quality clasp. Screw down case back, brushed satin finish longitudinally, and it's plain and undecorated with the exception of the engraving of the specification, but it is very well executed and also low profile. The solid end links are a very good fit to the case, and they are also finished to perfection in a brushed satin finish. The screw down case back provides an effective hermetic seal to 200 meters. Now let's do a lume test and we'll see how the lume performs when it's charged up to its absolute maximum. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch and charge it up to its absolute peak. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see it has not disappointed. This is something that Tudor do very well. The green superluminova is glowing incredibly brightly, and it's also glowing for a good length of time. Really, there is no difference in quality between Rolex Chromolite and the superluminova used by Tudor. The snowflake hands allow for large lume plots, as do the applied indices, and also you can see the lume pip on the bezel insert is also glowing very brightly. This is 10 out of 10 top grade superluminova performance. It really cannot be beaten. So it's something I really like about Tudor, the fact the lume is green, which adds to the vintage aesthetic. I personally prefer the green tone of superluminova rather than the blue tone of Rolex Chromolite, and I think that blue wouldn't have matched the vintage aesthetic of the Black Bay 58. Green really does replicate the vintage look of tritium, which is now obsolete due to its radioactivity. So top grade lume and just absolutely beautiful to look at. Right, so I'll give you a wrist shot. Now this piece has been sized for a smaller wrist, so it's a very tight fit to get it across my hand, but I want to give you a wrist shot, so I'm going to remove my glove and then I'll be able to just get it over my hand, as you can see. So I can't do up the bracelets because it's too tight, but I'll hold it on wrist and you will see how it fits. So I would say to you, if you're a collector with a smaller wrist of 6 to 7 inches, you will find the Black Bay 58's proportions to fit you to perfection. If you're a collector with a larger wrist of 7 to 8 inches, you may find the proportions to be too small, and therefore the Black Bay would be a better fit at 41mm. As you can see, the 47.6mm lug to lug measurement gives a very snug fit to the wrist. It's very close to the sweet spot. As you'll know from my previous reviews, I consider 48mm to be perfection. So 47.6mm lug to lug is very close to that. The 20mm lug width perfectly balances the 39mm head of the piece. Perfect vintage proportions to the case, and I absolutely love the taper of the lugs with the no crown guards case. The dome sapphire crystal is very aesthetically pleasing, and it does benefit from AR coating on the underside, which significantly reduces the glare and the reflective nature of the dome sapphire crystal. Very aesthetically pleasing piece to look at due to the low profile of the coin edge finish bezel, the matte blue aluminium bezel insert, and also the dome sapphire crystal. So it's just a gorgeous looking piece and incredibly comfortable to wear. With regards to the heft, it is only 137 grams, which for a 39mm case piece is a very lightweight lack of heft. So you're going to find it very comfortable to wear on the solid stainless steel bracelet, or alternatively on a leather strap or a NATO strap. It's a very comfortable piece to wear due to the flat stainless steel screw down case back. Right, so just bear with me and I'm going to put my glove back on for the rest of the review. So, very well executed piece. The case polishing, the finishing, the quality control are all outstanding, and as I've demonstrated, the bezel action is also superb. So with regards to the movement, it uses the Caliber MT5402, which is an in-house Tudor movement. It is COSC chronometer certified, so the stated accuracy is -4 to +6 seconds per day. It has 27 joules and it runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 4 Hz. 70-hour power reserve, which is very impressive, and it has hand binding and hacking, which are useful complications. So it is a technically excellent movement. To get a 70-hour power reserve is impressive, and to be COSC chronometer certified is also very impressive. So the specification of this piece is absolutely loaded. Now bear in mind the price point, this is €4,190. I think this watch is outstanding. It really is an excellent piece. So lastly, I will summarise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet 2 criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price point. So €4,190, this is an outstanding value piece. It is also excellent quality. Really, there are no negatives whatsoever to the watch. My only minor criticism is the fact that it only has 3 micro adjustment holes rather than 5 in the flip block bracelet, but this is a minor criticism. I also personally would prefer to see it with an oyster style bracelet without the rivet links, but again this is subjective. Many collectors actually like the rivet link bracelet because it does add to the vintage aesthetic of the piece. So I'm going to declare it an excellent watch, and I'm going to highly recommend it to you for your consideration. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Tudor Black Bay 58. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.